Hi everyone, John Han with the Pulsing Cinema here, and the movie of the day, oh man, it's a special movie of the day, The Haunting of Julia, aka Full Circle, 1977, directed by Richard Loncraine, starring Mia Farrow and Keir Dullea. Oh my god, a great ghost story, an obscure film released on VHS by the great Vestron. And that the cover of that VHS is epic, is iconic to me personally. The tape is very bad quality. I mean, it's pan and scan. The movie was lovingly shot. It is widescreen Panavision, and the video copies that have been available all these years, obliterate most of the detail in the film. There was a cable screening that was in widescreen, and okay quality, but you can really only find crappy quality copies of that online. So, The Haunting of Julia, based on a Peter Straub novel work. A ghost story. One of the scariest ghost stories I've ever seen as a movie. Mia Farrow, who's playing the usual vulnerable Mia Farrow, starts off as this woman, and her daughter dies in an accident. A very horrible accident. And she divorces her husband, Keir Dullea, and goes off to live her own life. Using her inheritance, she buys a house and goes off. And so there's all this dynamic between Keir Dullea trying to understand what's going on, trying to get her back. And then this Mia Farrow, who is alone, isolated in this house. She's in a state of emotional free fall from the death of her child, and she begins to get the vibe that the house that she's moved into is haunted by the ghost, not the ghost of her child, but the ghost of another dead child, and this dead child may be malevolent. This may be an evil child, and this child may be trying to somehow exact revenge, possibly through Mia Farrow, because Mia Farrow begins kind of investigating this child and the circumstances of her death, and then suddenly people begin to turn up dead. So it's a horror film, a ghost film, but a spooky ghost film. I think the less I tell you about this movie, the better it is, because there's just... Mia Farrow has all the machinery of being this vulnerable woman. There are shades of her Rosemary's Baby performance in this film where, she can move from a place of supposed stability into and she can really get vulnerable. She's a very vulnerable actor, and she has the kind of physicality and to play these types of roles. So she's perfect in the role of this lead character in this film, that she can exude that kind of vulnerability and the childishness, and then the influence, the spectral influence of this supposed entity. So, and we're not really sure if it's ghost, or we're not sure where the ghost begins and where the reality begins, because Mia Farrow could actually have a lot more to do with these murders or these accidental deaths, or what you might have than she's putting on. Is she possessed? What's going on? All of these things are kind of bubbling in your mind, and then by the end of the film, the end scene, which is scary. I refuse to spoil that end scene. That end scene is just like so slow and scary as hell. You've just got to watch it. You have to see it. It is great. So Mia Farrow, she's perfectly cast in this role. Keir Dullea, Gone Tomorrow. Keir Dullea is great. anytime I could see Keir Dullea in a film from 2001 to the Hoodlum Priest to Desaad to Black Christmas to whatever he does, I'm a Keir Dullea fan. I love him. I love his work. Director Richard Loncraine is an interesting director, an interesting guy, because this is a dude, he directed that recent film, Richard III adaptation, which was like a World War II kind of restaging of Richard III. He worked in sculpture, and he's actually the guy who invented or developed that executive toy. Those balls those metal balls that are on strings, and you move it and it click, click, click. The director, Richard Loncraine, he actually invented that little toy, and I think made him a decent penny. And he also directed the original version of Enemy Mine, eventually directed by Wolfgang Petersen. But he started a version of that shot in Iceland for a number of months, and because they were the original idea had envisioned doing like an ice planet version of Enemy Mine, and they scrapped that version and took the film to Bavaria Studios, and Wolfgang Petersen did it all on sets, and pretty much threw away the original version of the Drac, which had like dichroic mirrored contact lenses and stuff, and it was apparently kind of different way, slightly different. I've never seen any footage or production stuff from that original version of Enemy Mine, but I think it's really, really cool. So yeah, interesting director there with an interesting history. But in any case, I was thinking, what else can I say about this great film? Man, Haunting of Julia, a spooky, spooky movie. Definitely you need to check it out.